think when you actually begin to study someone's behavior as a whole, it really does have you truly comprehend the reasoning behind, I would say, such um, uh, a painful act that has clearly impacted the lives of many around the world. I think we cannot deny that um, taking a negative and a pessimistic and a hostile approach towards somebody for something that they are not in it's to something that they are incapable of controlling is it's something that really does have you question, like, honestly, what is the reason behind this? Many have actually undergone systematic, I would say, experience and research, and have ultimately concluded that there is a degree of insecurity from both sides. I think primarily from the side of the victim, and then from the side of the person who is presenting the hostility towards the victim. The victim, I would say, definitely being the colored person, needs to assess how well they are grounded and honored to represent their race and to represent who they have truly become as they progress into this world, and most importantly, they are proposed to really understand their purpose towards understanding that these actions have not only impacted them, but have impacted many others within the community who struggle to abide on peaceful terms with the Western society. But ultimately, if we're just going to look at it from a practical sense, I would definitely say there is some nerve, there is a sense of inner, or should I say, pride of feeling vain, of feeling so important to leave, I would say, your state and go on the offense towards somebody else, especially, or should I say, particularly if that person hasn't done anything towards you. I think the truth is there in the air that is not a problem inherent to the person of color, but rather towards the person who is presenting the hostility towards the person of color. And this is something that I feel like a lot of colored people or underrepresented people definitely need to be aware of. And the reality of this situation is the more you jump into the context as to how this scenario came about, the more you're able to reason and understand that this is nothing but a systematic procedure to prove somebody else's worth and importance as far as their society is concerned, because we have learned through many situations where the world has been in union that such practices are not actually considered in several parts of the world. You certainly will not find this practice being considered in parts where I would say colored people are dominant. If this procedure were to ever come about, and there is an issue, particularly within the Western world, where I would say colored people are perhaps absent or even ghosted, or represent such a small percentage of people, that at times there can be a feeling of being outnumbered and surrounded on, and this is the state that you find people living in today. Moreover, I do believe at the same time that that state of living is nothing more than a projected concern for a country, or should I say a nation or an organization or a group of people who practice democracy but are highly contradictory with their actions and their procedures towards colored people in particular, despite having those colored people do nothing. There is a sad and harsh reality where systematically the majority of colored people are under the doctrine of falling into low class life, or at least they are systematically or psychologically maneuvered into that type of overall lifestyle. And there almost feels like there is no way out. And it gets to the point where I feel like it is responsibility to actually transcend the situation and perhaps even represent by example what it means to just treat a person with a degree of sincerity, of respect, particularly if that person is just minding their own business and they are falsely forced to play the role of victim. And this is something that I believe that when you're speaking to a group of peoples, particularly within the Western society, they are in a frequent state of denial that this behavior still persists and this act persists. Listen to me, I'm just going to say this straight up because I understand that some people, everybody is raised different within the way they structure their societies and economies. I have far more respect for someone or a group of people who straight up tell me how it is from the get and how it will be as far as they are concerned, compared to a person who smiles in front of my face and disguises themselves as a well-meaning person, only to covertly lure me into kind of figuring out that there is a psychological maneuver of control. And this is the issue that you will find when dealing with a lot of Americans, I would say. You're in a place like Europe, for instance. Europeans will tell you straight up how they feel, particularly Europeans who have actually lived through that era. They will tell you straight the truth, and you know what to expect when you live in Europe. You know how to accommodate to the standard, and you know how to adapt to your own culture and mind your own business while allowing them to run their own empire, acknowledging that it is their empire and their country. Whereas in the Western world, they propose laws and bills to say that there is equality, when, as a matter of fact, you can go to any person of an underrepresented group, and if you took a census within their communities and asked them if their general experience of living within low-income communities was a sense of equality, you will find that they would, as a matter of fact, find it contradictory that there are masses within the colored community who claim to represent the colored community, only to take a white paycheck and be acknowledged by the Western world in their pursuits to abandon the root cause of the present circumstances that are facing many people who are still living under those procedures. And when you understand that solution and you really figure out the best course of action, you would know that it has been made clear as daylight that squeezing or attempting to bind with the culture is not a solution for the people of color. Perhaps it may have been a solution for the Chinese immigrants or the Europeans who established trading settlements, but it is proven through facts and data that this is not a procedure that colored people can take, and the only procedure colored people can take is finally learning how to build families of our own, rather than feeling that we need to seek white status in order to be approved by the country, by actually funding our communities by ourselves, rather than waiting on the day that a miracle falls from the sky. And once you realize that when we can teach colored people to more or less bond rather than separate and scatter their wealth, I really do feel like you will see a noticeable change, particularly within the circumstances of how a colored person would be truly better off just remaining within his colored identity and within the necessary boundaries that the Western world has proposed, rather than pretending that everything is okay, when in reality there is a blind denial that there is an evident struggle.